Hey you guys, I'm going to sit down today and address the question that's on everyone's minds. Why does everyone hate the new Story of Seasons? So the new game, Pioneers of Olive Town, just came out here in Japan last month, and it was recently brought to my attention thanks to one of my subscribers, Digital Heart. They commented on one of my most recent videos about the game, mentioning that the reviews on Amazon for it are very negative. So now that I've played 25 hours and I'm about 72% completion, I think I have enough background information to sit down with you today and give you my honest opinion. I'm sure we all know at this point that the new Story of Seasons was made by a new producer, and he produced the most recent remake of Friends of Mineral Town. Now, I don't agree with everyone who's saying he's necessarily a bad producer. He's just very new and trying to really get his grounding in the game and understand what makes players come back to the series each time a new game comes out. So just to start out, I want to bring up some of the things I really appreciate that this new producer brought to the game. One being the merch. At least in Japan, we did get a lot new merch ever since this new producer came into the series. So I really appreciate that. And not to mention, this game, regardless of all the negativity, it's probably the easiest Story of Seasons for a newcomer to pick up. And that being because the game is so incredibly fast-paced and there's a lot of immediate gratification as soon as you start to achieve stuff. So let's start off today with addressing one of the most viewed reviews on this game. A Japanese gaming YouTube channel recently uploaded a video that addressed what I think to be some of the main complaints about the game. So if you want to check them out, their channel name is Ichigo no Game Beat. So in their video, one of their main points that they brought up was how incredibly fast-paced this game is. Just to give you a taste of how fast things move, when you go to your barn to take care of your animals, you don't need to equip any tools. All you do is approach the animal, press A, and it automatically gets the product from the animal. So, I mean, there are still tools you can use, like your axe, your hammer, and your watering can, but it lets you just skip past all that stuff, like installing sprinklers. You don't need to use your watering can no more. Installing an automatic feeder, you don't need to put fodder in your animal's feed pen anymore. So what I'm trying to say is you can get pretty self-sufficient really fast, eliminating your need to actually go into the town to get more supplies, furthering the overall theme of loneliness, which I'll get more into later on. Overall, Pioneers of Olive Town really played down the reality of how hard farming actually is, and it made a lot of the players pretty upset, which is understandable. But for me, honestly, it wasn't that big of a disappointment because I kind of appreciated how fast-paced things were. Well, other than the loading screens, because those took quite a long time. I was looking forward to a lot of the other elements of the Story of Seasons game that I could enjoy, like romance or interior/exterior design. But just recently, reality sort of came down on me like a sledgehammer because I realized there isn't much left after the farming. I came into this game with a very open mind, even though I was pretty disappointed not to see the character portraits anymore. But surprisingly, more so than the disappointment of the lack of character portraits, I don't think I've ever played a game where interacting with the characters left me feeling so empty. For example, normally, as you raise a character's heart level, you'll start to see some new dialogue, more romantic themes, or maybe them complimenting you. But in this game, it doesn't change at all. There's little to no dialogue variety. And so you'll just get the same short phrases each time you talk to somebody, even if you're dating them. Like, hey, what's up?
Hi. Man, I don't like mornings.
I'm tired.
Today's busy.
I wish I was kidding. Nothing. No jealousy events, no comments from the townspeople like, oh, congratulations on your new relationship, because that actually happened a lot in the previous titles. It feels like romance is almost non-existent. And like I said, I know in previous interviews with the old producer, Hashimoto Yoshifumi, he stressed that romance is not supposed to be the main concept of the game. So like I said, I was originally looking forward to the introduction of the new DLC characters coming in April, but now I don't even know if I want to pursue marriage in the game. I read online that even after marriage, your dialogue with your significant other doesn't really change. So that really defeats the whole purpose of marriage for me. This to me was the biggest disappointment out of this whole game, and I really understand why a lot of people are upset about it as well. I saw a comment from somebody on the Japanese review who said that the mayor's dialogue was the most memorable out of everyone else. They're not lying. I mean, they should have at least made him a hidden bachelor or something. Another comment I saw was people saying that the townspeople were like mob characters. And first of all, I'm like, wait, what's a mob character? So I looked it up, and it basically refers to the faceless, dull background characters that you see in like anime and mangas. Okay, and this is off topic, but I want to bring it up anyways. I feel like our character's head is so incredibly large. Is it just me? Why do I feel like our character has like this huge bobblehead compared to everybody else? I didn't see this written anywhere on the internet, but I wanted to bring it up. Another complaint I saw a lot of was the default animation that plays when your character eats something or gives a present to somebody. And what I'm getting at is you don't actually get to see the actual item you're eating or about to give to somebody. This is definitely cutting corners. So while I personally wasn't bothered by it, it just made it come across as something really lazy, because we've been able to see the actual item carried by our characters from games way back in 2008, and it's like instead of progressing, we're going back in time. Another big shocker was the entire removal of some of our favorite festivals. The cooking festival, the animal festival, and the harvest festival no longer exist. Now, this could change in the future with some updates, because the producer has mentioned recently, after all this negativity came out in reviews, that they want to go back and fix a lot of the things that are bothering the players with future updates. Now, I'm sure, of course, there's a limit to how much they can fix, but we've seen in other games like Animal Crossing for the Switch that events can be incorporated with just a simple update. Overall, I have faith that some of our favorite festivals will be making a much needed comeback with some future software updates. But by excluding those festivals, the motivation to raise really high-level animals or crops is no longer there. Now, a lot of people have been comparing the game to Animal Crossing because of the crafting system. However, Harvest Moon: A New Beginning had technically already included this crafting system back in 2012. So this isn't new at all. But what I do know is that the new museum that's in this game, Pioneers of Olive Town, feels like a knockoff of Animal Crossing. It just feels kind of unnecessary. I was really looking forward to it, but then when I found out that it's not like a cool structured museum, it's more like here you just plop whatever you found in a random place. And even in the aquarium, you don't actually get to see the fish you caught, it's more like just a silhouette of them. If they really wanted to incorporate this in the game, then at least code a setting to where a tourist will enter the museum at a set period of time during the day. That way it doesn't feel so empty and out of place. Last, I want to touch on customization. So you guys probably are well aware that I love customization. So I was really excited to see how much character customization we had right out of the gate as soon as we start the game. However, beyond that, from what I've seen, there's no new hairstyles, there's no new facial expressions or voices or anything. Like your original settings, you can change later on once you build the salon. It's just changing back to your original settings. There's nothing new. I had a lot more expectations for the clothing options as well. So we do have clothing options, but they're just so plain and disappointing. I don't know. And this theme pours into the furniture options as well, unfortunately. You can buy furniture at some stores. There's some furniture you can even make, but the colors are extremely limited. The game prompts you to dye them with some dye, but the only colors of dye you have are very bright, unflattering colors. And there's not much freedom to move stuff around your house anyways. Like, I think I've expanded my house 2 or 3 times at this point, and there's just a very small section where you can kind of randomly throw something, but it's not even worth saving up the money to get stuff for it. Like, I don't know why they didn't just go like the previous games and allow you to choose a different theme of furniture instead of doing just basic colors. Like, I remember previously there'd be like cute, cool, or chic themes, and then your furniture would reflect that theme. To me, that was easier on the development side of it and more aesthetically pleasing for the players. I just want to remind everyone that it wasn't my intention to bash the game or anything. I just wanted to address a lot of the negativity that you're probably seeing online. But yeah, I mean, we just need to sit back and appreciate the fact that we did get a Story of Seasons. I think it's up to us to look on the bright side of the game, to encourage the series to evolve and get better, as opposed to just dropping out of the race altogether. Let's be good fans, let's hope for an even better Story of Seasons next time, and until then, enjoy the game for what it is.